The Dole. I often go under the moniker Eddie Durkin Never Workin'. It's heckled at me from passing cars, usually by Francis the Viper Higgins, a small-time drug dealer and failed entrepreneur. Never workin'. No, I work loads of jobs in my time. On the buildings, man. I've been fired more times than I've been hired. I just have to accept it, man. I'm better off on the dole. And technically, I'm my own boss. Most of my critics around town are dole scroungers themselves, so they've no position to be given out to me at all.
The height of power hypocrisy. Oh. They consider themselves in a position where they can cast aspersions on a man like myself. The only legitimate bit of work they did would have definitely been cash in claw.
Amazing.
Fair play to them in one way.
Paying tax to old softcocks, divvying out your money to special boys to buy dildos and gimp masks in Leinster House. The Celtic Tiger's after you.
That tiger turned the nation into a clutch of softcocks, bamboozled by easy credit, getting loans, buying a house only to have to pay it back 40 odd years later plus interest. Nowadays you can barely pay off the fucking principal.
Getting yourself into a cruel amount of debt just to throw the head down in a building where your stuff lives. Go way off now to fuck, you dirty reptilian banker bastard, You should be all shot!
Did you hear the crack with Seafood didn't leave, did you? He just bought himself a cottage, an old run-down job that cost more than a Lamborghini Hurricane. Fuck that crack, man. That's unreal. The self-employed working man gets shafted.
And you have to consider the merits of the dole. You can become the captain of your own soul. Like my next door neighbour, Gary Lowry. He's been on the scratch for the last 25 years. Get this, council just gave him a 12-bedroom house, fully furnished and everything. My uncle Teddy, on the other hand, continues to work his bollocks off to this day. He's been doing so since he was a 12-year-old man. Consider that for a moment. He's constantly moaning and complaining about being fleeced by revenue. Right before Christmas each year, in one hand, out the other. Doesn't take a cybernetic genius like Stephen Hawking to tell you who got the better deal there, man. Know what I mean, yeah? But do you though? Blessed be the dole, for thou hast nourished me well over many moons. Or mazoons, as I'd like to call each lunar cycle. The social welfare scheme has indeed greatly supplemented me over the years. Jam bombs, pints, mega meanies, 3-in-1 chicken bowl curry chips from ye old Chinese takeaway. Speaking of the Chinese, those lads still operate under the yoke of communism, yet still make all our electronic goods over here in the West.
They don't even get the dough like we do in Ireland, hey?
All hail Grandmaster Xi Ping.
Fair play to the Chinese lads though. They just keep the head down and keep working. You don't hear them complaining about anything, man. And Bruce Lee, he was fucking sound. Great man for dishing out slaps. He said, be like water.
Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put water in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
He was an absolute prince of a man, taken before his time. They reckon it was death by misadventure because some Egypt gave him the wrong painkillers and he had some sort of allergic reaction and died. God bless, baby boy. Peace up, A-Town. See the crack in China now, do you? Shady carry on, hey. They've got some weird old social credit rating score.
Like that episode of Black Mirror with Ron Howard's daughter. I have to say, she didn't inherit the looks from her old book. As bad as he looks, his brother Clint is a rotter. Head on him like a burst mattress.
But come here!
The dole isn't what it used to be, though. It was so sweet back in the day. Old Bertie Ahern gave us free money, each week straight into the bank. No questions asked. Boys coming home every couple of weeks to sign on. Until that fucking volcano, Eyjafjallajökull, Circle, ruined the crack in 2010. Remember, all the planes were grounded. They say the Polish government went into a mild recession at that point. Nowadays you have to sign on in a humiliating charade at the post office. Each week, one has to create a new backstory to the clerk as to why you're not working. She doesn't care.
No.
She just got a job to do, and she does it well.
But still, you feel bad having to sign on. And of course, most of the pious, judgmental faces in there at the post office are the ones collecting the dole themselves. They shouldn't be throwing stones if they're living on a solar farm. Who knows why we give each other disapproving looks? I guess deep down it's our own way of keeping each other on our toes. Makes you feel like you've earned your coin, having ran the gauntlet of shame. Doesn't make much sense really. It's of little benefit to anyone. Maybe they should all read The Power of Now by Eckart Tolle, some German header who deals with the concept of self-acceptance. I read a bit of it myself, and I tell you, it works wonders. I no longer worry or care about what other people think of me anymore. I accept myself for the way I am, and I accept you too. Upon reading The Power of Now, people will accept the fact that us ne'er-do-wells have opted for a life of relative comfort, a life cut off from real-world drama, the sweet, soothing nipple of social welfare. Fiscally, it's like constantly pressing the snooze button until noon. Even though the alarm clock has been set for 8 o'clock, it's neither a deep, relaxing sleep nor a productive start to the day.
Sure, if you're sitting around the house pulling the plums off yourself while watching Judge Judy, complaining then that you've got nothing done with your life, you've no one else really to blame than yourself. Am I right or wrong? Oh ho ho hey.
Yes.
Fair enough. I'll gladly throw my hands up and put a bit of weighty credence to that. I might not own a lot, but what's mine is me own. All moral quandarances aside, there's nothing cosier than lying in bobos on a cold, wet Tuesday morning, hearing the percussive sound of hard rain slapping off roof tiles.
In the privacy of your own bed, you can let all the troubles just drift off on a tangerine dream of absolute coziness. You know there's things to be doing, but you say, I'll have a little kipping for myself. Go on. You deserve it, man. You deserve it. Think of all those player haters judging you because you're not doing what they don't want to be doing. I'll do what I want, man. And the order of business is having a nice lie-in. Might even have some cool dreams, like the one I had the other day, for example, that I was in a band playing drums with Gary Oldman and Peter Andre. People said we were the best thing since Led Zeppelin. I was there bashing away, having a great time of it. I looked over at Peter and said, how are you getting on, Peter? Nice bit of bass work there, man. Level 42 job. It wasn't even Peter Andre, man. It was just some fat lad who looked a little bit like James Corden, but he had a class six-pack. It was all bronzed and shiny. Even though Gary Oldman was supposed to be playing the guitar, he didn't actually take human form. He was more of a concept, floating around, like a purple gas. I said, class tunes there, Gary, hey. To which he said,
Keep it going, Eddie. Remember to keep hitting those sixes on the hi-hats there, good lad.
Then the dream changed. The crack was unreal, man. Found myself flying around a staircase in a hotel, chatting to people, drinking drinks at the bar, working the room. Aidan O'Shea, the Mayo footballer, was there. The pair of us were dressed in cool suits. Colin Farrell turned up then. He had a tip for a horse, and the horse came in. We had loads of money. It was great crack. Everything turned into a cool party, and it was about to have a three-way with Mel C and Jerry Halliwell from Spice Girls. But it kept getting delayed. I couldn't get to the actual shagging bit. I was confused within the dream. I was still wearing the suit that I had from Miami Vice, but now it was covered in oil. For some reason I was helping Big Mick fix an old John Deere tractor. He was shouting at me, telling me to remove a family of weasels that had moved into his golfing bag, trying to lure them out with a nice Bailey's cheesecake. Cheeky little bastards were having none of it. Mick just kept shouting at me. All the while I was like, what happened to Mel C and Jerry Halliwell? And that cool metallic blue Ludwig drum kit I was playing? Where's Colin? Where's Gary Oldman? Where the hell's that hotel? I was still wearing the suit, riding around on a skateboard, ollieing down 20 steps at a time. The whole town had turned up, clapping, cheering me on. Go on, Eddie boy, you can do it. Man Durkin. Then everyone started laughing at me.
Why are you all laughing at me? What have I done wrong?
Then I looked down on the skateboard, and I had feet like a duck. Woke up then, sweating cobs. Sure, it was me own fault. Sure, didn't I wash down a fistful of Uniflu the night before with half a bottle of red wine? I tell you this, there's nothing nicer than being wrapped up in the duvet like a juvenile butterfly, listening to the Atlantic wind slapping at the gable wall, hard rain beating the shit out of the slates up on top. Oh, is there anything tastier than a beautiful kip? No, not at all. You think of those poor old bastards out toiling away on building sites, shuttering, waiting on a big concrete pour to arrive. Cold clammy hands, steel toe-cap boots, caked in heavy wet clay, Benson smoke, rising up through the damp morning air, among the din of heavy construction vehicles. The mind drifts over to the bus drivers steering the 27 bus as it cruises through the council estates of Dublin suburbs. Posh doctors dishing out prescribed antibiotics like sweets. Millennial lads in slacks and shirts, working in recruitment jobs. Talking about the latest episode of some HBO bollocks. The hustle and bustle of frustrated commuters stuck in traffic outside Naas, furiously flicking through the LCD synced plastic buttons in a tiresome bid to find something to stir the senses. Absolutely nothing of interest. Ultimately surrendering to the cloying, maudlin, soft shite talk oozing out of the mouths of pseudo-zany breakfast presenters, spinning the latest algorithmic pop music, multi-layered, treble-heavy wailing, over-processed beats. Can't tell if it's Katy Perry, Jessie J or Miley Cyrus. Then some acoustic honey-voiced soft lad comes on to sing some sentimental offerings in the key of C major. Ed Sheeran, Passenger. Or that other lad, Sam Smith, who says he's neither man or woman, but clearly he's a fucking man like. It's 8:30 in the morning and I'm going back to sleep, wrapping my fist around the lip of the duvet, pulling it flush under the corner of me jaw. Oh, man alive. During my school days, I would often set the alarm clock at 3:30, just so I could get up, put on the school uniform, let the dog out for a slash before excitedly jumping back into the bed, giggling away to myself at the prospect of another 5 hours sleep, saving 4 minutes of pissing about next morning, getting dressed in my school uniform. You should try it sometime. To be fair though, it won't do your REM any favours, and I'm not talking about the slap-headed crooner Michael Stipe from the band. Rapid eye movement is what I speak to ye of, which occurs an hour after you fall asleep. Your eyes start rolling around the place, like a pisshead on a cruise liner. And the brain is like, cheers for the kip, man. I appreciate that. The class thing about sleeping, it's totally free. And sometimes you can go on a nice holiday for yourself without ever having to leave the bed. Second to a good kip is a nice few pints down the pub with the boys. Nice low pressure pints. And you can just talk shite to lads for hours on end, watching the football. The same gang of lads at the bar who were there when you were a kid. Red-faced, grey-haired men, now turned white, dyed yellow with nicotine tar, polyester jackets on them. You can tell the wife has just said, off you go down the pub there, lad. Make sure you're back for dinner. And every day, they're in the same part of the bar, drinking Guinness. They're absolutely no bother to anybody. But then you gotta watch out for the spiteful cunts who come in every now and again, loaded up on drink, looking for hard fighting. They're the kind of boys you'd want to be cute for. Lads who've just come back into town, looking to test your mettle, wanting to throw slaps, dying for a bit of intrigue and badness. Boys who'd watched too many Steven Seagal movies growing up, thinking, come here, I'll take 19 of you on now. You want to be cute for these lads with a chip on their shoulder, wanting to come in and crack some skulls. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with them. There was a gang there operating around the town called the Chain Gang. They used to come in wearing big gold chains, shouting the odds, swinging the fists around. They got on the wrong side of Big Mick one night. Big Mick, as you know, is a gentle old soul. But if you rise him when he's enjoying a nice few looseners, oh ho, you better get running. 'Cause when Big Mick loses the canopy, He don't stop for no man. Lula Langan came in one night, eating a bag of chips, backed up by two of the chain gang boys. He walked up to Big Mick and threw a chip at his face. Big Mick was like, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I show you what I'm doing." He went to throw the headbutt into Mick. Mick caught him with his massive hand, grabbing him by the face. "Now, Lula, you're going to find out the true meaning of Castletown justice." Grabbed him, fucked him into a bunch of stools. Lula was taken aback. He'd bitten off more than he could chew this time, looking up at Big Mick as he buried the glass of whiskey into himself before finishing his pint of the black stuff. The chain gang, weathered and tanned from painting houses all day, had found the action they were looking for with myself and Big Mick. "Stall the ball now, boys," I said. "We'll have no trouble here tonight. Should look at the TV screen. Crystal Palace are playing West Brom. It's sure to be a zinger of a match. And if it goes well, I'll buy you a pint. Can't get any fairer than that, boys." "Fuck your pints, Durkin," shouted Scooby Prendergast. "What the fuck is wrong with you boys? Everyone's on a good buzzing here and you come in throwing slaps like Tito Liddell." Big Mick stood up behind me. "Now, boys, we'll go dukin, or we'll forget the chip incident. Choice is yours. If it's dukin you want, it's dukin you'll be getting. To quote the great Shakespeare, to duke or not to duke, that is the question." Lula Langan turned to his henchmen saying, "Well, boys, will we go duking it out, hey?" Scooby Prendergast answered politely, "To be fair now, Lula, any other day I'd be up for a nice little duking session, especially against strong men like this." "I'm just not feeling it," Marty chimed in. "Are we getting too old for this shite, man? We've been called the chain gang for the last 20 years. Maybe we should do something more fulfilling with our lives, like help out with the tidy towns or something." There was an anticlimactic pause in the excitement as Lula Langan gave up the ghost. "Fair enough, boys. That's enough excitement for one night. Anyway, I'm putting the kids to bed tonight. Herself is working nights this week." "Fair enough, lads. Fair enough," said Mick. "Sure, look it. We can arrange a nice duking session some other night if you want." "Ah, yeah, no bother, Mick. We'll do that. We'll have a nice touch of the Duke some night." "Look at Lula. You don't have to be duking it out every fucking week. The duking will always be there, waiting for you. Am I right, Eddie?" "You're not wrong, Mick. So now, boys, off with you. Go and get some rest. And by the way, how's your mom getting on since she had the fall, She's good, thanks, Mick. Tell her I said hello." "I will indeed, Mick. Good night, lads," he said. And with that, they just left. We'll have to get round to that duking session some fine summer's evening. Nice little tip about. Down the ball alley.
Now this concludes this episode of the Hardy Book. Fair play to you for sticking around. If you like this, and you know of other books and ladies out there who want to hear my dulcet tones describing life around the down, please spread the word. If you want to throw a few quid to the main man, jump onto Hardy Book's Patreon. Throw a few touchners there, glad. Good luck. God bless.